Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. As to begin tonight's program, we have one of our engaging conversations with British business and leadership speaker Rene Carayol. This time he has returned to share on the increasingly important concept of collaboration as an organizational strategy. Advocating for more trust and synergy between companies to both survive and thrive in the volatility that characterizes the modern business environment. You're probably thinking that collaboration is not that new a concept, and maybe asking yourself where you would even begin when identifying those to partner with when furthering this proposed model. On the sidelines of the recent Botswana Diamond Conference that took place at the Gaborone International Convention Center recently, Rene both addressed such questions and elaborated as to what he means when he says businesses must embrace collaboration.
There was a time when we could do everything on our own. We lived in caves. We hunted for ourselves. We fed for ourselves. There was a time when businesses could focus only on their shareholder. Whatever we're going to do is going to make the appropriate profits for our shareholders. Those days are long gone. Nothing is best done alone anymore. Our world is too fast moving, too complex, and the markets are too unforgiving. And the Americans would describe that we live in a world they describe as VUCA, V-U-C-A, volatile, unpredictable, complex, and ambiguous, which precisely describes the times we live in today. Nowadays, no one person can make every call on their own. It's no longer feasible for the leader on their own to be that broad, but it is feasible for the team to be broad. So why do we need collaboration so much today? And I'm here in Gaborone fabulously because I've been moderating the Diamond Conference for De Beers, and collaboration was also a theme of our conference. And I think when we say collaboration, people sometimes think it's a loose partnership, it's collegiate behavior, it's being nice to each other, it's about being pleasant and okay with each other. No, no, and no. There was a time when the business or the organization would have an opportunity, an initiative, or a new project, and it was nice, neat, and tidy. And it fitted beautifully into finance, or it fitted beautifully into operations or into marketing. And that's all it took to manage it. Nothing hits the enterprise today that is that neat and tidy. Whenever an opportunity comes or a problem occurs, it takes a bit of help and assistance from everyone in the organization. So organizations need to know how to truly collaborate. And if it's mission critical, and there's a huge prize to be had for the organization if we can deliver it, then we not only need to be able to collaborate, we need the best of the best talent in the organization made available. And everyone knows what happens in the organization, in every business. I'm not going to let my best players go and work on this. They can work on the things I want them to work on. That's old thinking. New thinking is, if something's mission critical, then let's get the best people from every part of the organization on it, because it matters so much to us. If it's delivering that brand new project, that brand new product, if it's the most important customer, you want the best people on it.
So that is the correct way to collaborate as opposed to superficial. But collaboration is not a new phenomenon. It's been around for centuries, and some may even argue that it's part of the African culture. What has made it so important now?
Collaboration was a nice word, with a definition of working together, being comfortable together, being happy together. I think I'd redefine it and say it's interdependence, it's symbiosis, it's synergy. 2 and 2 equals 5 when we collaborate. It's where it's not just win-win, it's survive, survive, it's thrive, thrive. And whereas collaboration tended to be 2 people, it's everyone now. I can't think of any economy that's thriving that doesn't collaborate. And let's just push back on the African example. Yes, it is part of our heritage. Yes, it is part of our history. We don't practice it that well though, do we? Because I don't see an African Union where we've got open borders where we trust each other to travel in and out of each other's countries the way Europe does, until Brexit. Our big mistake in Britain of Brexit. But I do have a dream. I have a dream that Africa's not just 54 separate nations. It's a pumping philosophy of one continent with 54 partners collaborating together. We don't yet have roads together. We don't have airports that link us. We have hardly anything else, anything that links us. What a missed opportunity. And it's never too late. So collaboration isn't just about being nice to each other. It's needing each other, wanting each other, thriving together, becoming successful together. And it's, we are stronger together, we are one. But what sits underneath every collaborative relationship is trust. And there was a time when trust was earned. I'll work with you for the next 18 months, and if you do all the things I think you should do and you never let me down, I may trust you. In today's world, leaders say there's no time for that. We don't have that luxury. It's so fast moving, trust is given. We call it extended trust. I'm going to trust you from day one. On occasion, I may be let down. That's not going to prevent me trusting as many people as I can. The more of us that trust each other, we build something extremely special. Will we be let down occasionally? You better believe so. But will we win overall? Of course we will. The option is, are we going to not trust everyone, be cautious with everyone, find a reason for not working with them, or are we going to change the game forever? We're Africans. We have a shared prosperity. Let's start from trusting each other from day one.
Who then is my partner as a business? How do I identify who to collaborate with?
Instead of asking who's our partner to collaborate with, it's who can't I collaborate with? Because sometimes, so we heard Tidjane Tien, the chief executive Credit Suisse, born of the Ivory Coast. He made an announcement 2 weeks ago, which I think is groundbreaking. He's saying the increased cost and increased regulation of running a modern investment bank is becoming cost prohibitive. Can we not get a group of investment banks together to share costs, share infrastructure, but compete on brands? Surprise, surprise, he's had no takers. It's a new way of doing business. Many would say it's a traditional African way of doing business, but I think it's with a business imperative. We can no longer do things on our own successfully. So let's have a model of collaboration, joint enterprise, shared ownership, sharing the spoils of victory together. Why wouldn't you?
Welcome back to the program as we continue our discussion with business and leadership author Rene Carayol on collaboration, something he describes as today's exciting strategy.
For every person who's up for doing it, there's 10 people who tell you how difficult it is. They'll tell you all the problems associated with it. When you're going off on an enterprise like this, you don't need a bunch of cynics, you need a band of believers. Choose your teams, choose your partners really well. I can see so many opportunities for collaboration and so many successful collaborations. Is it easy? No. Does it take determination? Yes. Does it take real partnership? Yes. Does it need trust? Yes. Should everyone be doing it? Yes. And it starts from the top. If there is not a nation on earth that will not benefit from a more collaborative model, trust your customers. Trust your citizens, trust your employees, trust your people. If everyone had something more to believe in, you know the great story? There's this great story. There are 3 men working on a building site in the burning sun. They're breaking rocks. It's the toughest work you've ever seen and they're dripping in sweat. The journalist comes up to the first one and says, "Why do you do this job?" "I haven't worked for 3 years. I took the first job I could get." Goes to the second one, "Why do you do this job?" "I have a wife and 3 kids and I need to feed them. I took the first job I could get." Goes to the third one, "Why are you doing this job?" "I'm helping to build a cathedral." If we give our people something to believe in and something to belong to, then magic can happen. And underpinning that magic is collaboration. So if we bring a bunch of maybe competing rival businesses together with a shared dream, common purpose, things we can all do together, then someone's got to have the vision of the cathedral. Here's why we're doing it. We all benefit from doing it. From being a part of it, the more we share, the more we give, the more for all of us. As ever, when I come to first issues, no matter what the problem, The conundrum is, the answer is always a question of leadership. With great leadership, great collaboration happens.
Truly radical way of looking at things, I think.
It's radical, but you know, because of what you said at the start, I'm not sure it's that revolutionary. We're taking a very old idea, an initiative, and we're making it fit for purpose for modern times. Collaboration, we've been trusting our neighbours, working with our brothers. It takes a village to raise a child. You tell me all the African proverbs, which are all based on a level of collaboration. Instead of leaving them as proverbs, let's bring them forward today to become today's exciting strategy. Let's live it, let's breathe it, and let's win from it. I was with De Beers today, and De Beers, they're going beyond diamonds. They're seeking collaboration in what they call beneficiation, which is all about what more can we do with the benefits we've had from a diamond industry for the last 50 odd years. And it won't be diamonds alone in 50 years, it could be so much more. To bring that shared prosperity and that shared vision, it needs to be underpinned by collaboration. And it's not talking about collaboration, it's living collaboration. It's building through collaboration. It's executing through collaboration. And out of many, we are one.
Do you agree with our guest this evening? How far down the interdependence journey are you? What avenues have you identified? How has it benefited you thus far? Feel free to share your comments with us on any of the First Issues social media platforms. Welcome back to First Issues. As in this portion of the program, we pick the brain of British business and leadership author and speaker Rene Carayol as to the possible business leadership learnings we could make from Donald Trump's win of the US presidential race. We're talking about a man who defied all expectations from the very start of his presidential campaign more than a year ago. As a BBC article titled 5 Reasons Trump Won says, very few people thought he would actually run, then he did. They thought he wouldn't climb in the polls, then he did. They said he wouldn't win any primaries, then he did. They said he would not win the Republican nomination, then he did. Mr. Trump ran the most unconventional of political campaigns, but it turned out he knew better than all the experts. He ran against the Democrats. He also ran against the powers within his own party, and he beat them all. In said article, journalist Anthony Zurcher says, Mr. Trump may have won because he was willing to take a stand against them, that his pox on them all attitude is likely to have proved his independence and outsider status at a time when much of the American public reviles Washington. Others, however, say that his winning strategy came about as a result of applying a business model to politics. By promising shareholders returns, he got the job. The shareholders, of course, being the American voting public. This is what Mr. Rene Carayol had to say about that view.
And I understand that. So Donald Trump is the first ever unelected official to rise to president. Now I understand that many people say it's because of his business acumen, because he knows how to deliver for his shareholders. He made them promises, he received their investment, he got their trust, and he delivered. Some say that. I'm not sure that's what I see. I see something quite different. We've seen a phenomenon, a global phenomenon for some time now, where the impact of globalization has benefited many, but left many marginalized and many feeling completely left out, completely disenfranchised. And I think we saw the manifestations of this first in South Africa. And we saw this at the time when the change of power from Thabo Mbeki to Jacob Zuma. Zuma was able to deliver a really strong populist message that hit the nerve. Was it right? I don't know. But it certainly got him elected. We saw a similar thing in Brexit, where a hugely disenfranchised part of our voting population didn't feel the centre cared for them. And they expressed it in their votes. I'm not convinced they fully understood the implications of that vote. Which brings us fast forward to Donald Trump. Now, I've got a slightly different point of view. Yes, he's a decent businessman who understands how to deliver for shareholders, but I think I saw something slightly different. I saw a hugely disaffected America. I saw centrist politicians not really knowing how to connect, not knowing how to engage, and the absolute apex of that was Hillary Clinton. No emotional connection, no real understanding of what it was like to live on the wrong side of the tracks. It's interesting because I felt Barack Obama, as also as a fellow Democratic nominee, he did understand. He did know how to connect. But there are many who say that if we go back far enough, when President Roosevelt won the American election, he understood the power of radio, mobilized it, energized it, and became president. John F. Kennedy understood the power of TV, mobilized it, energized it, became president. Barack Obama understood the power of the internet, mobilized it, energized it, became president. Donald Trump, the king of The Apprentice, understood reality TV, mobilized it, energized it, and became president. I wonder what price we're going to have to pay.
What leadership lessons do you think there are for business in how Brexit and the US presidential elections played out?
So that's a really insightful question. I think no matter what business you are, no matter what government office you're running, no matter what public sector you're in, let's all take a lesson from the best leaders on earth. The best leaders on earth are mothers at home. They never went to no training course. They didn't have any qualifications. There's no bonus system. There's no incentives. Yet the hours aren't great. Feedback is constant. Yet they know that every single one of their charges needs a slightly different stroke. They know who to energize, who to chastise. They know about boundaries. They're close to everyone they serve. They understand that one size fits no one. This is New Age leadership. And the leadership I think that we can all learn is that if you ignore your customers, someone else is going to pay attention to them, and then you've got a hell of a price to pay. And we saw it in Brexit, we're seeing it in South Africa, and we saw it play out with Donald Trump. Those who really have the pulse of the customer as their heartbeat, close to everything they do, and can emotionally connect with them, can understand what they're after, will deliver for them, will be visible to them, will connect to them, they're the thriving businesses, they're the thriving services, and they get elected president. It's very simple. Who's your constituency? What is it they're after? Be very close to them. Deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and results happen. I still think it's a dreadful way to learn the lesson.
How did the Donald know how to appeal? It's purely, like you're saying, through his...
The Donald had TV ratings.
Yeah.
He made The Apprentice the #1 reality show in America. He knew how to play the TV ratings, how to play social media. He spent the least money of any president to get to presidential office. He played social media and the TV. He didn't need adverts. He was the advert.
He started paying for ads towards the end there when he...
Next to nothing. Next to nothing. Hillary spent $500 million. He spent next to nothing.
Once again, we'd like to invite you to engage with us on tonight's topic. Which winning ways have you found to connect with your stakeholders in your organization? How do you stay in touch with the people on the ground? Do feel free to SMS, tweet, or Facebook us on this. Welcome back to First Issues, as in this segment we turn our attention to the business culture currently practiced in a country that is full of awe-inspiring potential, but like many others on this continent, has had its economic development stunted by war and political instability. That is the Democratic Republic of Congo, better known as the DRC. Because of continuing unrest, since the abrupt departure of the Belgians in 1960 and consequently the year that marks the country's independence, a country that is meant to be one of the wealthiest on the continent is now ranked the second least developed country in the world. We're talking about 80 million hectares of arable land, over 1,100 minerals and precious metals. This includes diamonds, coltan and tin, one of Africa's largest copper reserves, and the world's leading cobalt producer. What are the realities of doing business in modern-day DRC? DRC national Dr. Emmanuel Kayembe, currently working as a professor at the University of Botswana, clues us in. If I was to head to DRC tomorrow to do business there, how would you advise me to network, to get around? What should I be aware of and what should I expect?
Normally people from Southern Africa used to go to DRC for minerals business, like coltan and sometimes copper. Yeah. So there is some sectors of business in Congo where people can go and buy something like mineral field and exploit them for themselves. And then they can find partners from Southern Africa. So you need to know to be in touch with some people who can help you to find things like license, exploitation license, and then to contact people who are doing their own business in the sector of minerals. Yeah.
Is DRC fast-paced, slow-paced? As an English speaker, will I have an easy time moving around a French-speaking nation? Is it easy for somebody to go and do business?
Yes, it is, because the French-speaking country that is near to English part of Africa. So I can say that English is the second language of DRC.
So as a Motswana going to DRC, I should know to maybe network on a one-to-one basis more than a proper structures, as you are saying. It's more informal.
Yeah.
To wrap up, we announce the winning comment in response to last week's program. Batla Piri wrote in via Facebook to say that he was an employee at African Copper Mining when the company went through the liquidation process in November 2015, and thanked us for helping him to understand what the big word liquidation means, as well as some of the terms used under liquidation, such as provisional liquidation, preferred creditors, and the due diligence process. Not only have we imparted knowledge to Mr. Piri, we will also be sending him some first issues goodies for engaging with us. You could be next week's lucky recipient simply by chatting with us regarding the topics discussed tonight. While you're on there, don't forget to participate in our ongoing Facebook poll. As we say goodnight, our safety tip this evening is a reminder to drivers that by law, children under the age of 5 should be placed in a car seat in the back passenger seat of a moving car. Until next week and more issues of interest, do keep yourself and those close to you safe.